And Gary Nargis came up with how many? 5?
5 scrawny pheasants.
And now the next generation is out getting their kill. So we'll go forth. Interviewing Elberne Luehrs. You want to tell us where you were born?
Me?
You.
Johnstown, Nebraska. June 16th, 1919.
1918.
Any special events?
Pardon?
Any special events around the birth of
Not
their
really.
third son?
Not really.
You were born at home?
You bet.
About what time?
I don't know. I think 2:30 in the morning.
Have any siblings there to welcome you?
Well, Roy and Neil, I suppose.
Why did your parents name you Elberne Elmer?
I was going to ask that.
My mother's sister used to go with a fella named Elberne. And he died, and they thought a lot of him, so they named me Elberne. That's all I know.
Elmer. You don't know where Elmer came from?
Not really.
As a baby, who did you look like?
I look like a baby. I look like myself.
Now the book I have here says you look like your mother.
I
Tell
don't
us
know.
about your mother's family. Who were your grandparents on your mother's side?
I got some of that stuff at home. I should have brought it. Her mother's name was Merrill. For her, and her mother for that was named Christopher. Christopher.
Christopher?
Yeah.
But your mother, Mabel, her mother was who?
Susie Merrill, Westover.
And where was she born?
Where?
Uh-huh.
Down, what's that town, eastern Nebraska?
Your mom was born down there.
My grandmother was born in Canada.
Okay. Your mom was born in where?
What's the name of that town down there towards Lincoln?
Milford?
Yeah, Milford.
And how about your mom's dad? What was his name?
My mom's dad's name was Amos E. Westover. Born in Canada in 1868.
Okay, and then on your dad's side, your dad's name was,
Harry William Luehrs.
and when was he born?
When was he born?
Mm-hmm.
Speak up just a little bit. 1894. February 18th.
Where at?
Johnstown, Nebraska.
Same place you were, right?
Yep, as far as I know.
And how about his parents?
His mother was born in Wyoming.
What was her name?
Adeline Lyman.
And how about your dad's dad?
He was born in Ohio.
What was his name?
Henry.
Henry?
I can't say his middle name. Henry Luehrs.
Wilhelm?
Huh?
Wilhelm?
I believe you're right. Wilhelm.
Well, they immigrated here, right?
Yeah, my granddad did.
From Germany?
Germany.
Hanover, Germany, I think.
That's the same place Gary's parents came from.
Yeah, that was...
It's interesting.
You could be related to him.
That's scary. Do you have a nickname?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, some people call me Al. Because they can't say the other name. Or spell it.
Tell us about your brothers and your sisters and life when you were little.
I mean, when they're born or just about their life.
Yeah, just when you were growing up.
Older brother was Roy. He was born the 14th of July, 1914. Neil was born July 22nd, 1916.
And how about your sisters?
Elaine was born May 12th, 1921. Gaith was born April 21st, I think, 1924. And Geneva was born Christmas Day, 1927.
I don't know how you remember all that stuff.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is. I couldn't do it.
What was it like, you know, your life when it first started out in Johnstown? Everybody was born in Johnstown, right?
No.
No?
Roy was born north of Johnstown, Cedar Creek,
Cedar?
Cedar Creek?
Cedar Creek.
Yep.
And Neil was born east where we were living, a little place where my mother and dad lived. Now the rest of us was born there at the old ranch.
Somebody had a real unique birth.
What?
One of your sisters had a really unique birth.
Elaine,
Yeah.
she weighed around 2.5 pounds or something.
And it was interesting how you kept her warm.
Put her in the oven. The oven door open and put a blanket on her, and my mother must have washed her pretty close.
I would say so.
Pretty stressful. Describe the house. What was it like? What was your home like?
Compared to now, a shack.
Oh, how many rooms or?
Oh, there was solid. No, each bedroom was pretty good size. Had 2 beds in that, and the one little tiny one. And when my mother and dad stepped in, it was just an average room, average bed size. And it had a kitchen in it, a dining room, and a living room.
So there's 2 bedrooms.
Pardon?
2 bedrooms?
3.
3 bedrooms.
All the girls slept in one and all the boys in another?
Well, I guess so.
You had to share a bed with your 2 brothers?
Wintertime, I got to sleep with Roy, and because he'd make me sleep with him in the summertime, he'd kick me out, and I had to sleep with Neil.
So did you guys ever get in trouble?
Well, sure, I got in trouble. All kids do, don't they?
Tell us about a time you got in trouble with Aunt Neva. What were you doing? What were you chasing her with?
Chasing her with. Used to get my finger hot on the stove and burn her.
Didn't your finger hurt?
Well, I know. It hurt me, it didn't hurt her. We made our own entertainment. We didn't have any money, and we made our own entertainment. And,
What kind of games did you play then, or what did you do?
oh, we had card games. Played steel sticks. Just kind of we had a basketball thing there.
You had a basketball?
No, it belonged to school,
Oh.
but we used it.
Did, Dad told me you guys got some coal off the train car one time or something. Kind of stole it?
Yeah, well, we moved to Sydney. That was later on. Moved to Sydney in 1932.
Okay.
My dad died in 1930. He's 36 years old. We remained on the ranch up at Johnstown for 2 years, and we moved to Sydney, east of Sydney. And we didn't have much to live on. So anyway, we needed something to burn on our stove. And Roy and Mom's brother, Uncle Lloyd, they'd go up on the top of those cars and shove those chunks of coal off, and we'd pick them up and take them home and burn them on our stove.
Now who's we? You and...
Neil.
How old were you guys then?
Well, say it was 1932, I'd be 12, but I was probably about 13 or 14. Neil a couple of years older.
Did you guys ever steal cigarettes?
Yeah, on occasion. Hard man had some. I kept them up on top of I had a 40-foot windmill tower. I'd take them up there and put them up there. My mom couldn't get up there to get me or anything. We never did steal too many.
What did your dad do for a living?
Had a ranch, farmed a little bit, and had run quite a few cattle. We had about 300 head of cow herd.
Didn't he also trade horses quite a bit or
So
something?
yeah, I trade horses and cattle both.
Growing up, did you have very many toys, or if you did, what were they, or did you have a
Well,
bicycle?
not really. At Christmas time, if we got one toy, we was lucky. Because we were very contented, because that's all the way I ever had.
Was it Dad that got shot his hand with a pistol?
What's that?
Was it Dad who shot his hand with the hired
Yeah.
man's pistol?
He was chasing me
He was chasing you with the
with
pistol?
the pistol. Belonged to the hired man. The hired man should never had his loaded pistol in his dresser drawer, but he was chasing me and he couldn't catch me.
I
So
don't.
he put the pistol up against his hand and pulled the trigger.
That's what I thought.
Blew a hole right through it, which was probably the best thing that happened. He'd been back a ways and all that happened.
Yeah. And the hired man was fired or something.
You
right?
bet they fired him. But not my mother's doings.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved to Sydney in 1932 and we brought in down 10 head of horses and mules and put a little furniture had and went, Roy and Neil drove the team to Halsey, Nebraska and put them on a train there and brought them to Sydney.
Back up though. Tell us about that ranch. How that you guys bought that as shares or whatever.
When my grandpa died,
The original ranch
yeah,
is located where?
in Johnstown, Nebraska.
Okay,
South of Johnstown, 7 miles.
and then tell us how your family got that.
Well, my dad was the oldest one of the bunch. When his dad died, when my grandpa died, they appraised the ranch at $30,000. And there was 4 kids.
How many acres?
Oh, probably 1,150 is all. And some hay meadow on it. And it had 4 kids, and each kid got 5,000, and my grandma got 10,000. Made a total of 30,000.
Name those kids. Who were those kids again? Your dad, which was,
Harry,
Who's the
okay,
oldest?
he was the oldest,
yeah, Uncle George,
was next.
Aunt Goldie was next, Uncle Charlie was next.
So it was Henry,
Henry,
George.
no, that was my granddad.
Okay, Harry, excuse me.
Yeah,
Harry, George,
Goldie,
Goldie,
Charlie.
and
Charlie.
Charlie. Okay. So as you got that, when you were a little kid though, did you guys have like radios or anything like that?
no. No, we made our own entertainment. My mom would read books to us. We lived in the living room, that old pot-bellied stove, and read books to us, and we'd say, read one more, Mom, read one more, gotta go to bed. But she generally gave in and read one more chapter. She used to be a school teacher.
Grandma was?
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Did you guys have any pets?
That's only a dog or two.
How
What's
did,
that?
how did Grandma get from Milford to Ainsworth, or
Probably team wagon.
did her folks move out there then, or?
Her folks lived in Milford. That's where she was born.
Right, but how
And
did they
then
get to
then they
Johnstown?
moved to Pavilions. That's North Omaha. Then they moved from there to Ainsworth. That's where most of the children were born.
Was he a farmer too,
Well, I guess so.
Grandpa Westover?
He farmed and ran a few cattle. They had a pretty good setup there south of Ainsworth, Johnstown. South of the old place where we live, there's a big flat down in there, and they've got irrigation down in there now. Then they moved to Sydney,
How old were you when you left Ainsworth, the Johnstown area?
12 years old.
12. So did you have like friends as you were growing up? Was there anybody that you hung out with?
Oh
or,
yeah,
like,
we had a few friends, wasn't too many people down there to have friends with.
who was that?
The Williams boys, 3 of them, Roy, Glenn, and Lyle. Allen boys, Albert, Helen, and Don and Bob. There's only 7 of us in the whole school.
Did you guys ever have secrets or do anything stupid?
Never.
Never, yeah, right. Did you ever tease the girls?
I suppose we did, I don't know.
They ever call you a name?
I don't know, probably did. Probably said get out of here or something.
One time you mentioned they called you biscuits.
Oh, that was that long-legged girl at Sydney, Dolores Green.
What was did you guys ride horses to get around, or did you walk from like the school, or?
No, we walked. It was about going on a half a mile. We had a lot of horses on. We had a lot of horses. But as far as going to school is concerned, we walked, it was only about a half a mile.
Go to Johnstown.
Didn't go to Johnstown, went to the country school.
Okay. But did you ever go to town to buy groceries, or?
Well, my mother, yeah, we didn't go to town very often. My mom go to town and buy groceries,
Did you ever buy anything in town? A treat or anything?
piece of candy.
How much that cost?
As I remember, about a nickel.
Was that horehound candy?
That's Grandpa Westover's candy, horehound candy.
That was Grandma's too.
It's terrible.
And lemon drops.
Did you ever go swimming? Was there some type of swimming
Swimming?
pool or?
No.
How,
Hard Ryman had ponds around up at Johnstown. Pond, the water standing right at the top of the surface. And he swam like a fish. He took me out there west of the house there one day. And
Who's that?
Hard Wyman. He was Grandma Wyman's, my grandma's sister's boy. He got in lots of trouble for the law. Anyway, he'd get me on his back, he'd go out there and swim, and he'd leave me. He'd come back and get me, I think I got scared of water. I never did learn to swim.
what was like a regular meal? I mean, since you had no refrigeration, or did you can meat and canned
Yeah,
vegetables?
my mother carved a lot of meat in quart cans. Had about an inch of towel on top of it, and it was good. And pork, they'd fry that and put it in a crock jar and cover it with lard, keep from getting any air into it. One piece of meat, we go in and dig it out and fry it and eat it. And
Did you have a fireplace?
no,
Just wood stove.
2 wood stoves, kitchen stove and a big potbelly stove.
When you had stuff to keep cold, how did you keep it cold?
Well, we had a milk house out there and a windmill pumped into that thing. It was kept the butter and cream halfway cold, not like it does now, but that's the only way we had to do it. We had to carry our water to start out with, and we finally put a pitcher pump in the house. Well, that was hot, all in heaven then, just in there in the kitchen and pump water.
How about lights? How did you light? Was there electricity?
Before my dad died, in about 1928, he bought a Delco light plant. Had batteries on there, and it had a 32 volt. We thought that was a wonderful thing to pull a string and it had a light. Before that, we just had kerosene lamps and lanterns.
Did you have chores to do when you were growing up?
Are you kidding me? That's all we do is chores.
Well, what did you have to do?
Milk cows. Well, I always had a few pigs and get together up the wood. Whatever came along.
Where'd you get wood? There's no trees down there.
Oh yeah, we had a mile-long trees there in a grove. South of that tree. I don't know if they're still there or not. A lot of them, I think, are gone. Right south of the house there, about a half a mile, there's a grove there, full mile long.
Cottonwoods, or?
Cottonwood mostly, yeah.
Did you ever have a fire?
What do you mean a fire?
I don't know. I mean, like an accidental type fire.
House fire?
Barn fire?
Well, I had a shed burn up one time.
Did you ever have firemen or police come to your house?
No.
You told me once a sheriff came.
Hmm?
You told me once a sheriff came. What'd the sheriff come for?
I don't know, I'm probably looking for you, I don't know. What did it come from?
Well, wasn't somebody in the family a sheriff or a county commissioner of Brown County or something like that?
My Uncle George run for sheriff, but he didn't make it. But,
Probably a good thing, wasn't it?
oh, I think he made a good sheriff.
What were your Christmases like? What did you do as a kid?
Oh, we always had a little tree somewhere. string popcorn and little strings of that in there. And when the little didn't have any lights on it, she'd hang apples and other things, ornaments on it to keep, just really look about White Christmas.
Do you have any like traditions that you did on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or?
Santa Claus always come on Christmas Eve. Somebody always had a big dinner on Christmas Day.
Did you get together with your family,
With
grandparents, or
With the other
aunts and uncles?
Yeah, aunt and uncle sometimes. Grandparents weren't there then. They moved out of there they moved to Sydney's where they moved to.
Did you have any kind of Christmas programs or?
Hmm?
Did you have any kind of Christmas programs?
Oh yeah, the church. West had a church program.
Is that
What-
church in Johnstown? Or?
Yeah. I'd ride a horse 7 miles to practice. But,
So you sang at church?
Pardon?
You sang at church?
No.
Thank
No.
goodness.
I'd say to sing at church, the roof would cave in.
Well, you said you had to practice. So.
Well, we'd have a Christmas program. I'd say a piece, you know.
Oh, you were one of the wise guys?
I know, I doubt that.
Did Santa bring gifts or did he,
Oh, yeah.
did he
One-
get you what you asked for?
Johnny. My mom always made popcorn balls and candy. Always made candy. We had a good Christmas.
Did you have your own horse?
Well, I called my own horse, but there really wasn't a horse. Well, all those kids had horses.
Yeah.
Did you have sleighs? Did you do sleigh riding or go
Oh yeah.
skating or?
I did some skating later on in Sydney. But we had sleigh rides.
How about skis?
But I didn't have a set of skis. My brother did. Roy had a set of skis. My mom skimmed the bottom of the barrel to get those, and I told the mailman to leave them at our neighbor's mailbox so Roy wouldn't know I was there, and he was surprised that he got those skis.
Did you ever make skis out of barrel stays?
Yeah, tried to. Hit my rear end. Couldn't sit down for a while.
So Dad got skis, but where do you use them at?
We got hills back there.
Oh, I thought maybe you towed him behind a horse or something.
No, we had hills back there.
Did you ever have a bobsled?
We've got one right now. All it needs is the wood, the irons there needs the wood put on it. Oh yeah, that's after we moved to Sydney.
I mean, when you were little, did you?
Well, we had a sled, yeah. It wasn't really a bobsled.
Was it kind of a homemade thing?
Yeah,
What'd you make it out of?
wood. We had a wobbling horse tank on there to ride in.
Did you guys go to school in Johnstown or
Went to country school.
in Johnstown?
No, south out at the ranch. It was,
What was your school like?
well, in 7th was the whole school. I was all into my grade.
Were you the top or the bottom?
I was the top.
Who's your teacher?
We had a lot of them. I mean, ever saw them. Helen Hawk was one of them. Attila Clopton was one of them. Helen Fink was one of them. Just, they just hire and they go along.
You had a big turnover then.
Well, we had a turnover. I was only 7 in the whole school.
How long did you go to Johnstown? To what grade?
Johnstown,
Mhm.
7th grade.
Then where did you go?
Sydney.
The whole time till you graduated? What year did you graduate in
1938.
from Sydney? So, how did you get to school most of the time?
Shank horses walked. We lived 3 miles. I lived 3 miles from high school, and then my mother never took me once. She didn't really have enough money to buy gas.
Your senior year, you didn't live with your mom though, right?
Nope.
Tell us about that year.
Well, they moved to Washington.
Your
Fall.
parents did.
My mother and brothers and sisters moved to Washington.
Okay, that's right. Your dad was gone. Okay.
And after I was a senior, and I worked for a board and room. Go through high school,
Where'd you work at?
Olson Ranch. That's where I'm living today. Of course, they never owned that piece of ground. They school ground. They never did own that.
Did you like school?
Yeah, fairly good.
What was your favorite subjects?
Recess. Well, I don't know. Math, arithmetic probably, and algebra and so forth.
Did you go out for any sports?
No. I had to work.
You got a lot of homework?
Well, I do some homework. There was 6 kids. There's only even 2 of us went through high school. That was my little sister and me, and the rest of them never went anything through high school.
Did you ever play hooky from school?
Once or twice.
Anything happen? You get caught?
Well, not really. Till one time we had a flat tire.
Did you really have a flat tire?
No. So we took the car down to the filling station, pumped the spare tire up, so,
Did you let the air out of the tire?
yeah,
They didn't catch on to that, huh?
not really.
Back to Johnstown, your dad died in 1930 or it was. What would he die from?
Pneumonia, and then he was real heavy. I think he had a little heart trouble too. But Dad died of pneumonia, I guess. He wasn't sick very long, got sick on Thursday and he died Monday morning.
How old were all of you at that point?
Well, Roy was 14. No, Roy was 15. Neil was 13. And I was 10. Eileen was 8. And Gaither was, I suppose, about 5. And Neve was only 2.
So then you stayed there 2 more years?
Yep. Stayed there 2 more years before I moved to Sydney.
Why did you move to Sydney?
Because my dad died and we lost the ranch. I guess you might say we did.
Did you know somebody here in Sydney though?
Mom, grandpa and grandma, my grandpa and grandma lived there and she had several brothers and sisters living there.
Okay, so she had family here.
Oh yeah, she wanted to. If we was old enough, we probably kept that place up there, but that ain't the way it bounced, so. What interest we had in it, we lost it all. We really had a third interest in it, because he had bought Uncle George off, and he had a third, so. And my grandma and aunt and uncle took over, mostly my grandma and aunt.
So you lived in Sydney or just outside of town, or?
Right east of Sydney, about a mile.
Didn't you move to Gurley first? No? East of Sydney first?
Yeah. And we moved there in 32, and in 35 they moved to west of Gurley, and my grandpa had bought a place out there, and they took over the payments on that, and during those drought years and everything, no way we could hang on. We shipped an immigrant car with 8 head of cattle, 2 mules, and a little furniture we had to state of Washington.
Is that Pat and Mike,
Yep. You remember them?
the mules? Well, I just heard about them.
Yeah. They weren't much good out there. The altitude was too low for them.
So you moved to Washington, where at?
Stanwood had about 45 acres down there, nothing but trees.
But you didn't go.
I stayed and finished school, and then I went out there
Yeah.
for 2 years.
You finished high school,
Yeah.
then you moved to Stanwood for 2 years.
Hmm?
Then you moved to Stanwood for 2 years.
Yeah.
What did you do while you were in Stanwood?
Well, I milked cows and felled trees and whatever I could find to do.
Why did they go to Washington?
Because my mom, grandpa, and grandma, or my mother's mother, folks lived out there, and most of her brothers and sisters lived out there. And she wanted to get away from Sydney and the whole ball of wax, so she just went out there.
So from 1938 to 1940, you were in the Stanwood area, is that right?
Yep. I graduated in 1938, and I stayed there until December of 1941.
Where did you work, you said?
Where at?
Where did you work?
Yeah, in
In
Stanwood.
Stanwood, out in Mount Vernon.
Well, I worked in a cannery, felled trees. Neil and I felled trees, and milked the guy's cows up there for him.
How did you fall trees?
Hand, hard way, no chainsaws. Hand saws. So piling. We'd chop them down and we'd have to peel them. Them down. I don't know, a horse. We didn't have the horse. The neighbors had the horse, and he'd pull the trees down to the landing, and then they'd load them on a truck.
What'd you do with the money?
Pardon?
What'd you do with the money?
My mother got it all. The house we lived in didn't have water in it, and there were not enough bedrooms, and we had to carry water up a hill to get the water in there. And we put 2 new bedrooms on that house, and later on, put water in it.
So after 2 years, you decided to leave
Leave where?
Stanwood.
Stanwood.
I didn't leave Stanwood.
You said you only stayed there 2 years.
Well, I went to the Army.
Okay.
About a little over 2.5 years. Went up to Fort Robinson in the remount place, and we'd handle about 14 to 15,000 head of horses and mules, and I was in the veterinary detachment of it.
So you were a vet?
Well,
When did you enlist?
Pardon?
When did you enlist?
December 22nd, 1941. Come out the first day in 1946.
And what was your rank or your promotion or whatever?
It wasn't very good.
Do you have PFC?
Yeah. They didn't have any ranks.
So you were in the veterinary detachment. You did a lot of veterinary work?
Well, I did some, yeah.
Just took care of horses?
Well, I didn't take care of horses so much as we'd pick out sick ones and help the veterinary, the real veterinaries, no doctor and so forth. Well, we'd give them shots and stuff like that, but
So why did Fort Robinson have so many horses and
and
mules?
the remount place where I kept all the surplus horses and mules in the United States. There was 3 of them in the United States. One was Kansas and one was in Virginia. But Nebraska had more than any of them.
Didn't they have some prisoners up there too?
Yeah, there was German prisoners up there, war prisoners. They were very nice people. And had a canine up there too. We killed 3 horses a day for the dogs. I didn't do it. I might lead the horses over to where they slaughtered them, but I didn't actually do it.
So now, my dad was there too then, Roy was there too.
He was in a CC camp. That was the year before he went out there. Well, he went in there in 1936, I think it was, or 5. 36. He's up there for a year in CC camp. They didn't have near as many horses and mules there than we had, and I was up there. Yeah, he's up there for a year. Same place.
Was he building Fort Robinson at the time, or what?
What's that?
What were they doing, do you know? Were they building Fort Robinson at the time?
Well, no, the barracks and stuff was already built. They added on to it, yeah.
I think he told me they were building roads.
Well, yeah, they built some roads up there. But later on, they got the big equipment, you know, they just, a lot of those they did with horses and mules to start out with. Roy didn't like it up there.
Did you?
I didn't mind it because I knew if I wasn't there, I knew where I was gonna go. I didn't want to go across the pond.
Didn't you work for a farmer while you were up there too?
Yeah,
Were you supposed to?
well, we had a lot of pastures up there, and you know, I wasn't supposed to take a horse off the reservation. I was riding pastures a lot. I had a key to that south gate. He gave me $5 a day for, you know, up there and help him. I was only making $21 a month. And I'd go up there and help him take out a horse off the reservation, bring him back. And I was on night duty when I did that, because and this was in the daytime. All I did night duty was do a little mopping up or so forth. And
You used a mop?
well, sure, use a mop.
Okay.
And horse and mules come in, you got to unload them. They got to stand for 3 hours before you can water them and things like that. They didn't leave me there too long though.
How many people were stationed at Fort Robinson at that time?
In my outfit, there was about 75, 80 people in the veterinary plate. Then they called the other part of it remount. That's what they did the feeding and horseshoeing and things like that. And there's probably twice that many people there at that time, I guess.
What did they do with all these animals?
Not really. Sent a lot of them to Burma. They break these these mules for pack animals and send them over there to Burma and China and so forth for pack animals.
Did you ever make friends, or will you have exposure to the POWs?
Yeah, more or less. There's two or three of those guys that kind of talked a little bit, and they couldn't buy cigarettes, and I buy them some cigarettes. So I was the best friend they had. Those prisoner of war guys was 99.9% of them was perfect guys.
Did they work there?
You bet. They worked hard too.
Did they get shipped back after the war, or did they stay there? Or?
No, they had to go back for 3 years before they come back, and some of them did come back.
To the United States.
United States. We had one in Potter running a slaughterhouse.
Didn't you have dogs up there too?
Huh?
Didn't you have dogs?
Oh yeah, canine. I had nothing to do with that. Some of those dogs are pretty vicious. Yeah, they had canine up there.
So when did you leave Fort Robinson?
Me?
Yeah.
Went to Sydney, Nebraska.
When was that?
First day of January 1946.
Okay, so you headed to Sydney, you didn't head back to Washington.
No, I went in partnership with my father-in-law.
So there must have been an attraction there somewhere.
Well, of course, I was married at 45. A year before I got out of the Army.
Well, you got to
Oh.
back up a little bit. Tell us how you met her.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't believe I told you what I told you.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta-
would.
You gotta try us now.
We had a team of mares out east of Sydney, and the guy up there southwest of Sydney had a stallion, to breed horses with. And taking that horse up there, and I was going cross country there, and Florence's dad says, "What are you doing?" He was out there. They owned that ground. I told him, and he says, "Yeah." He asked me a lot of questions. You don't know if I was only about 16 years old, 15 or 16. So I got a job there, working that summer. And then, well, just for, I didn't amount to anything there about Florence then. But anyway, later on, a year I went to school,
What'd they pay you?
$20 a month, board and room.
Where did you stay then?
When I worked there, I stayed out there at Florence's grandmother's.
Which is the Childers
Yep.
farm now?
Yeah. She was a nice old lady. She came from Sweden.
So where'd you and Mom go? On a date?
Oh, shows and picnics, and we belonged to quite a few church activities.
So was it love at first sight?
Not really.
Not really?
You want to interview her too? Wish you could.
Yeah.
So when you got married before you got out of the service.
Yep, a year.
How'd you date during that time?
We lived together. We lived in
Why
Shadron,
don't you explain that?
which is about 33 miles
But
away.
you were already married.
Yeah, we got married the 24th of January, 1945.
Before you got married.
Well, you were
okay.
you were stationed at Fort
Oh,
Robinson.
she was going to nurse's training in Omaha.
So when did you ask her to marry you?
Oh, about midnight one night.
When she was in nursing training?
Yep.
Nurses training.
Right?
So where'd you get the
So
ring?
you wrote letters back and forth, or?
Yeah, we called. Some old gal down there to Fort Robinson in the telephone office would let me call for nothing in lots of places, and it didn't cost me anything. So then we wrote a letter to her.
Did you pick out a ring, or did she, or
Well, I guess we both did. Hastings, Nebraska.
Hastings, Nebraska?
So you said a year before you got away from Fort Robinson you were married?
Yep. We lived in Fort Robinson, drove back and forth to Fort Robinson. There's half a dozen guys doing that.
From
We each,
Shadron.
we lived in Shadron.
Okay.
Tell us about your wedding. What day was it?
24th of January. That's Della. She didn't even know hers. 24th of January, 1945. It's going to be 60 years in January.
Where?
Sidney, Nebraska, Methodist Church. No, I had one relative there. One of my uncles, Uncle Frank. My mom didn't have enough money to come to the wedding.
So none of your immediate family was there?
One uncle.
Your mom couldn't get to the wedding from the ranch? Or where
She
was
was
she?
in
She's
Washington.
She's living on
Oh,
Washington.
that's right. She's in Washington.
Who was in your wedding?
What do you mean, and who's in it?
Who was in it? Who was your
Her sister.
attendance?
Florence's sister was in it.
Okay.
And
She was your maid of honor?
What you call is Marjorie McGurvin. That's what Florence's cousin. She was in it. She sang a song.
Did you have a best man?
Yeah, I had 3 guys come back from Fort Robinson. Lloyd the Workman was the best man. I hear from him now once in a while. He lives in Ennis, Wyoming, Montana. Got a nice setup up there, and he's kind of sold a lot of his property off. And then 2 other guys come back, Clausen and George Richmond. They came back and they were doing the ushering.
Did you keep in touch with those guys?
Well, I used to keep track. Walkman I do. He lives in the, but there's other 2 guys. George Richmond, I called him one time. He lives in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. He did. He's 80 years old and he's still roping calves at Cheyenne Frontier days. Another guy, Clausen, he lived up here in Rushville, Nebraska, and I don't know what happened to him. I went through there 2 or 3 times and tried to find him. I couldn't find him. So,
Did you guys have a honeymoon?
yeah, went to the state of Washington.
So after,
I was gonna say, how'd you get to Washington?
And I had a car,
What was it?
1936 Dodge. Took 5 days to go out.
Interstate 80?
Interstate 80 and Highway 30.
so then when you got back, you lived in Shadron, right? An
Yep.
apartment or
No, I had a little house there.
what did mom do at that point?
She worked in her hospital.
As an RN, right?
And one night, there was 2 little houses behind this big house, and we was living in the middle one there, and we was over next door. The people there visiting that night, Sunday evening, and I said to Florence, I says, "Didn't you turn that light off?" "Yeah." "Well, over there, and Geneva was there." She said the house wasn't even locked because it was right there next to it. I said, "How'd you know it was the right house?" She said, "I saw the pictures." We didn't know she was coming.
She surprised you, huh?
She'd been surprised we'd been gone.
When was this?
Be 1945.
You were just married, right?
Well,
For a year
during the
or
week,
2?
I don't know just when it was, 1945.
How did she get there?
She was back with Delmer Park. He came back after
This
that.
is your uncle.
No, it's my cousin. That's Aunt Florence's boy.
Okay.
He's dead. He's my cousin.
So you lived in Shadron until when?
January 1st, 1946,
Then where'd you go?
Sidney, Nebraska.
And where'd you live?
About half interest in that setup out there then. Milking cows and I was feeding cattle, and we worked quite a few horses and mules at that time.
Did you ever have hogs or sheep?
No. We had a few hogs at one time, not very many. Really didn't raise hogs.
Where did you guys live?
There was a little house there on right where Childers has that right now. We lived there. Then we moved a house in from west of Gurley, west of Dalton,
A schoolhouse. A schoolhouse.
and made a house out of it,
And that was about what? 1948?
I suppose.
And that's where Roberts live now.
Yeah. And we put all the other buildings in there except that one big shed, the barn, they put that in there.
And you lived there till when?
35 years. About 1980.
4?
Yeah, more than that, about 1984. Then we moved over where that was school ground where I lived over there, and for instance, folks lived over there, and I bought the personal property and remodeled the house. The house cost $5,000 brand new, and I spent $40 trying to overhaul it. That was school ground, and I finally got the ground bought, so I had a deed to it. And I bought the rest of the ground they had around there. And I added on a little wheat ground up on top too, which I still have, I guess.
So how many acres do you have there now?
Pasture and everything, probably 700. There's roughly 400 acres of pasture on setup. There's a short quarter up on top and a short quarter where I live.
Tell us about your cattle operation. How did you buy them, and how did you feed them, and how did you sell them?
Well, we bought cattle. I got in the whole, was milking cows. When I got out of the army, I was milking 40 cows. And selling milk to the Sydney Creamery.
Do you have a machine or milk them by hand? Or?
We had a machine. Had milk 2 cows at a time. I still got the machine.
Did you have help, or did you milk them all by yourself?
Well, we had a house. We moved in there next to our house, and most generally to have a kid or two around there that helped me do help do little chores on there. And I sold them milk to Sydney Creamery. They closed their doors. We sold it out here to Hans Dairy, and he closed his doors. And I started peddling Holstein cattle, and finally got rid of all the cows. And then I went into business of buying heifers, Holstein heifers, and I had high as 150 around there. I'd raise them up and breed them and sell them as stringers. I still got a list of a book at home I saw the other day about 20 people in there I used to sell cows to. Then we always fed 300 to 400 head of calves every year. I'm talking about beef cattle now. I buy up in Wyoming, Montana. And,
Weighing how much?
huh?
How much did they weigh when you got them?
Well, we're talking about pretty light ones, probably less than 400 pounds. Now those calves, you can't probably buy a 400-pound calf. Most of them are bigger than that. We never did fatten them. We have fattened a few cattle, not very many. Then we'd have maybe, depends on how much feed we had, maybe a couple of old cows, and we'd feed them all the poor feed we had, and maybe a little bit of grain with it, and they went for hamburger.
How did you feed them?
Well, first starting out, I fed on the team and wagon. Then I bought a feeding wagon and a loader. We built a saddle up there, and loaded the loader and fed with the feeding wagon. I sold my feeding wagon, I still got a loader out there now.
You ever remember riding a pony called Peanuts?
I never did ride him, but I used a little thing I bought someplace.
You don't
half
remember?
Shetland thing.
You don't remember riding it?
I don't think so.
You had one named Blackie.
No,
Who raised him?
He bought a Shetland pony one time.
Maybe I did. I guess I did ride him. I don't know. I think it's a ornery little thing.
Yep.
You get back to this coal thing along. I'll backtrack now. They get on there and then we'd haul that coal out. Roy and Neil would go up there and they'd show that coal off, and we'd bring it up in the house with a team of wagon and use it for wood. Or rather fuel, you know. And I think you said, well, we had a telephone out there east of Sydney. He said, didn't the operators know that's what you was doing? And that's a quiz you asked Roy. He said, they didn't want us, and they caught us, and put us in jail anyway and feed us.
Yeah, I guess the conductor just turned his head, didn't he?
Well, the conductor ran into the train, the freight train, you know.
Oh.
We had half a mile of railroad ties they took out. Roy said we burnt some of them, and I don't remember that. Burned railroad ties. But we burnt mostly coal. Down along the creek, where my stepfather lived, right? He wasn't my stepfather then, but he had a lot of trees down along there. We cut some wood down there once in a while to burn something with the coal a little bit. Then in 1936, the fall of 35, my grandpa Westover had a farm west of Gurley, and he had bought that through a real estate agent from Burlington, Washington. And he had the listing on it. Well, the ground was pretty good ground. But the 1930 or 1940, wait a minute, 1936, and things just, during the Depression, we're getting out of that. And it was such wrapped up with such a debt on it, we couldn't keep it, so we lost out. And in the fall of '37 when they moved to Washington. Neil,
When did Grandma marry Grandpa Pettit?
about 1941.
And they lived, he was from Sydney.
He lost his place out east of Sydney. And he used to go up there and buy milk from us. He used to fill milk around town. And then they kept that place down there by Stanwood till 1945. And then they moved about that place south of Mount Vernon at 20 acres.
So he came out to Washington and married Grandma?
Yep,
Out in Washington, right?
yep, out in Washington. About 1941. I lived there until he passed away, and
Was he married before?
yeah,
He lost his wife?
I got a divorce. Had 2 kids.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Oh.
she did.
What were their names?
Marjorie and Bob Pettit and Marjorie Pettit.
They still alive?
Bob's dead. Marjorie, I don't know. I don't know whether the mother is gone or not. She lived and moved to Texas.
You have any skeleton family members?
Got a
Anybody?
son- got a son-in-law. Nah, he's a pretty nice guy. Here he is.
He's not a skeleton. He's eating. Looks like he's been eating pretty good.
No, you got anybody out in the family?
My grandma had her sister's boy named Hard Wyman. He was kind of an outlaw. He
Steal
wrote
cattle or rob banks or what?
he wrote checks to my dad. The one thing he did. My dad took care of that. And he'd been in jail. He was, I don't know what all he did do, but he used to do a little rodeoing.
What did it mean? It used to say pull a Swanson. Tell us what you meant by that.
Where do you get that crap at? I got a cousin named Ellen Swanson. Ellen, and like when she wouldn't answer the telephone or answer the door, and get inside there, boys, as nice as can be. I guess you ever see her? Lives there in Mount Vernon,
See her son once in a while.
and she's kind of a slick little person. She's a pretty nice gal, though.
Well, let's talk about Grandma's side of the family. She was one of what? 8 sisters, or she had 7 sisters or something?
Yeah,
2 brothers.
there's Florence and
Grandma was second, oldest, right?
second
Who was oldest?
Florence.
Florence.
Okay.
And you're talking about sisters, and there was Gladys and Hazel, Ethel, Goldie, Blanche. And Uncle Frank had a twin. She died at more or less at birth time. She chilled to death in January. Back then in Barnard.
What was her name?
Fern. She was very old. A week or so old, all she was. How many was that? What, 8?
Quite a few.
Say him again.
Yep.
Florence, Mabel,
Florence, Mabel,
Hazel,
Gladys, Ethel, Goldie, and Blanche, and Fern.
That's 8.
And 3 boys. Roy Westover was right between Mom and he was right next to my mom, and he had bad tonsils. He got poison in it. He was 18 years old.
18?
18. And he died. And I was in high school. I had bad tonsils, and I couldn't even walk. I was in 10th grade. I couldn't even walk. They took me in, took my tonsils out, and it finally healed up so I could walk, do a little bit of walking. One of my teachers lived pretty close to, I stayed with my aunt up there on the north side of Sydney for a little while,
Which one's that?
Gladys. Mom said just exactly like her brother Roy. He was 18 years old when he died.
So you never lost any siblings?
No,
Then there was two boys, Frank and Lloyd, right?
yeah.
They were the youngest?
Yep. And Uncle Lloyd just died here. About a month or so
Yeah,
ago.
a couple months ago.
We buried him out there in Bayview. We had 3 children. Roger, Bruce, and Susan.
Were they all born at the same spot?
No. Roger and Bruce was born in no hospital. He was born in a new hospital
In Sydney.
New
in
generation.
Sydney, Nebraska.
Do you choose the names for a particular reason?
I can't remember that. I guess we kind of liked it. I think Mom kind of wanted to, your mother kind of wanted to name that. Her grandma was Susan, and my grandmother was Susan. Grandma Westover and Grandma Chambers were both Susan. Roger and Bruce, I don't remember why we named them that. I had to call them something.
Yeah, how come there wasn't an Elberne? Junior.
They couldn't spell it.
Any highlighted vacations that you ever took that stand out in your mind?
You know what?
Vacations?
Well, I don't know. We went to Hawaii once with Nib and Mel. Been to Florida twice.
Didn't like fishing.
Alaska once. So Florence didn't go up there, Alaska. I don't know.
Used to do something once a year.
Go out to Washington about once a year.
Did you go to Washington D.C. too?
Pardon?
Did you go to Washington D.C.?
It's Washington.
Yeah.
Which is Washington.
Washington.
I went to Washington D.C. to. Roger got married in Pennsylvania. We went back there then. Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Bruce got married in Kansas.
You had to follow the old brick road. Never mind.
Susan got married in Sydney, Nebraska, at the Methodist Church.
Which time?
Hmm?
Which time? Both time?
Last time.
Okay.
You have any words of wisdom for all of us?
Yeah, save your money and buy land and machinery. Caterpillars.
I'm doing that.
You could kind of play your close to your belly and do what you have to do. So there's bad days and good days.
There is?
You bet.
Anything else anybody wants to add?
Any more stories?
Well, I
Any more
know.
lies?
Hmm?
Any more lies or stories?
Which was the easiest child to raise?
Susan.
Let's see, Roger and Bruce aren't here, right?
Until she got old enough to run around.
I don't know. You give me a little bit of stack once in a while. She takes horses downtown took one horse down there one time and when you get bucked off or something down there at the park, and
No, it got a nail in its hoof.
one time they took my good car down the railroad track.
Who did that? You know, I always thought it was interesting. I think at least 2 of your children said they would move away from Nebraska as soon as they could and never come back. Where do they live now?
I think all 3.
No, only 2 of them said they were moving away.
Well, Bruce lived in Washington for a while.
Yeah.
He said there were too many people out there to raise a family. And he kind of had the farming in his height anyway. And he come back here and he farmed with me for 5 years. Then he went in the commodity market. I think he lost a little money there, you never did find out. And the Federal Land Bank. Then he went to a bank in Okolala, Adams Bank.
He was the land bank here in Sydney, wasn't
Yeah.
And Rogers had a few different clinics, right?
Yeah, he had, he got married and went to Bozeman, Montana. And he bought that thing. And it was too cold for him, I guess.
he? Veterinary clinic.
Veterinary clinic. It was too cold for him. So he, back to Sydney and he got built one there, or out there, right next on me. And he got in the sheep business. He had 1,000 sheep at one time. I was kind of glad they left the country.
What was it like to go down and have coffee with the other guys in the morning and talk about sheep?
And then we don't talk about sheep, we talk about other things. I go down there, at least 2/3 in the mornings and have a cup of coffee on the way to the rest home.
But
Now,
now,
in the afternoon I go down there, not too often.
Roger, he moved again. He didn't stay in Sydney.
No, he moved to Scotts Bluff. He had a little building there for a clinic for a while, and then he finally built this big one. Nice one. You been in it?
No. I haven't.
I have.
Huh?
I have.
You've been in it, now he's got a partner. Sold half interest to a guy. Then he got another guy that, he's a veterinarian, that he works there on a share deal. Good night.
Thank you for your input.
Well, I don't know how good it was, but
It's pretty good.